Good morning to you, and it is just about 10:53 a.m. on July 28th, 2020, and as of the 11 o'clock advisory from the Hurricane Center, we now have a potential tropical system on our hands. Potential tropical cyclone number 9, just to the east of the Caribbean and located around 13 degrees north and 53.7 degrees west, and is moving towards the west at about 23 miles per hour. Minimum central pressure 1007 millibars, and the maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. And it is interesting to note that the threshold for a tropical storm is having wind speeds of about 35 miles per hour, 35 miles per hour. However, this system, not yet named a tropical storm nor depression, has winds of 40 miles per hour. That is well within the range of a tropical storm. But certain aspects of the system prevent the Hurricane Center from naming it a tropical storm at this time. And we'll get into that in just a moment. Having a closer look of the potential or the forecast track, the system is expected to trek through the northern Les Antilles, crossing over Guadeloupe and moving towards Puerto Rico on Thursday morning, and moving towards the Bahamas and northern Cuba and potentially Florida. At this time, we have watches and warnings in effect. Tropical storm warning in effect for most of the northern Les Antilles, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico, while tropical hurricane watches in effect for the northern coast of the Dominican Republic. Expecting the system to continue to be a tropical storm or become a tropical storm later on, either today or tomorrow, while moving towards the islands of the Les Antilles, the northern islands of the Antilles, and then expecting may strengthen to a hurricane. However, the forecast models are keeping it as a tropical storm as it moves in the vicinity of the northern Leeward Islands and the Greater Antilles. To note as well, we are that if the system is named, it should be named later on today or tomorrow. The name will be given should be Isaias, which is the next name on the list. Uh, that is the ninth name on the list. We have been going through the names, even though you may not have realized. It has been a busy season, somewhat. We have gone through Arthur, Bertha, Cristobal, Dolly, Edward, Faye, more recently Gonzalo, and the last system on the list so far, Hannah, and the only hurricane so far of the 2020 Atlantic season. So the next name on the list, Isaias, Isaias. Quite an interesting name, I should say. Also, the potential, uh, the surface wind field of the system is a lot larger than Gonzalo was in the past week. This is due to the broad nature of the circulation, and there's a uh, closer look of the areas under tropical storm watches and warnings and hurricane warnings. Much of the northern Leeward Islands under a tropical storm warning, while the northern coast of Dominican Republic is now under a hurricane watch. Having a closer look of the system itself, I mentioned earlier that uh, though the system has winds of tropical storm strength, it is not yet named, and this is due much in part of the nature of the circulation or the broadness of that circulation. Just get my highlighter here. Right. Okay. Just a moment. Right. So if you look closely at the map in front of you showing the current location of the circulation, we have over here the island chain of the Eastern Caribbean down to Trinidad to the south. And this area, a really broad area, I should say, if you look at the circulation moving from the south through the northeast back around across Barbados, that is pretty much the circulation field at this time. Like I said, it is quite a broad field, and in order for the system to be classified as a bona fide tropical storm, we would need it to have a rather closed circulation and a tighter, more well-defined circulation. Right now, it is basically an open wave just east of the Caribbean. This whole entire area from Trinidad moving through the Western Atlantic is the area of circulation that we are seeing with the system. So quite an impressive area, I should say, broad area of circulation, rather large. However, we are seeing impacts moving into the much of the Eastern Caribbean, beginning of Barbados. Should begin feeling impacts later on today, as we have this complex area of thunderstorms that has been firing and developing throughout the night last night and remain quite robust moving towards the west. Now, the system may develop a closed center of circulation either to the south of the broad area or to the north. Now, this would influence the exact forecast track, as it's depending on where it develops the center of circulation, it could take the system through the northern Leeward Islands, or if it develops on the north side of the circulation, the system could track more north. Excuse my poor dexterity there, and move the system north of the Caribbean region through time. Now, we should be seeing more development with this later on this afternoon and today, and a more defined forecast path should be available for the system later on in this evening's update or maybe tomorrow's update. Now, as far as impacts with the system, even though it is rather robust and large and not having a defined center, rainfall will be a major concern across the Eastern Caribbean. And looking at the models, and let me just get my cursors right this time. Right, so just a little bearing here, we have Jamaica over here, Hispaniola here, Puerto Rico, the island of the Lesser Antilles, down to Trinidad, and the northern coast of the Southern American continent. So moving through time, let me just, right, so moving through time, we're seeing this area of low pressure pushing towards the Eastern Caribbean, a rather large area of showers and thunderstorms. The browns on this map indicating drier air, while the blues and turquoise indicating moist air, which is indicative of a tropical system. However, as you may see the system push towards the island, you may see the dry air out ahead of it begin to wrap into the system. However, to note as well, much of the moisture is being lifted towards the north and the east of the center in here, and the system should remain lopsided, having most of the moisture on the eastern side of circulation, while the western side should remain rather dry. Now, this could be beneficial to some while detrimental to others. Some islands of the Caribbean are experiencing a drought, and this rainfall event would be a rather nice reprieve from that drought. However, we're expecting much of the moisture to remain to the east and north of the system, having a rather airlobe shape, which should keep the precipitation over the eastern Caribbean and as it progresses over the northern Caribbean, Barbados, and Puerto and Caicos, and avoiding much of the islands of the Great Antilles, Jamaica included. So, for those who are hoping for a bit of rainfall, this may not be it. Right, so that is it for today. And looking at the 24-hour accumulative rainfall amounts through the system treks as it treks through the Caribbean. Bearing again here, the islands of the Eastern Caribbean over here, Jamaica over here, Cuba, so on and so forth. Moving through time, expecting this area down here, which is the rainfall associated with the system now. As we move through time, it is interesting to note how this rainfall progresses through the Eastern Caribbean. Most of the islands affected by some rainfall event later on today through to Friday, as the system moves quickly towards the north and west, expecting most of the rainfall activity to be across the Virgin Islands and the islands of the northern leewards, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. And the system rainfall should remain north of the Caribbean region and not impact most of the Great Antilles. That is it for the update for today. And as always, thoughts expressed here are mine and mine alone. For detailed analysis and weather updates, consult your local weather service. Have a good day.